Welcome back, friends. We're here again today doing something super fun. So I hope you all tune in. Make sure you're tagging your friends, letting them know that we are live doing some cool stuff. Today we are doing a crawfish boil. Time of the season is here. We finally have the live crayfish in. We get calls about these all year round, and today is the first day that we have them. Absolutely beautiful. First of the season crayfish here. Let me go ahead and grab one for you so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And we're going to be cooking these up pretty traditional style in a classic little boil. So tune in, tag a friend. Again, we're going to make these and they are going to be so delicious. It's always super exciting when we get these in for the first time. And we get a lot of questions about seafood boils. A lot of people not sure exactly what to do or what to use. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process. I know we did this like a month ago with some shrimp and some clams. So we're going to do this again today, but this time with the crawfish. So here I've got a pot of salted water that I've got simmering with my potatoes in there because the potatoes take a while to cook. So you want to get those in first. If you were using corn, which we don't have today, that would go in early as well in order to, again, make sure that it cooks. So anything that takes longer to cook, kind of put in right away. In terms of everything else, I've got a bunch of different stuff here that we're going to look at. But first thing I want to do before that is, now that my potatoes are cooking, I want to get some aromatics into the pot to help, again, flavor this water even more. So I'm gonna take an onion and I'm just gonna kind of chunk it up, leave it big. You could even leave the skin on if you wanted to. Again, this is really just to kind of help season the water. So I'm gonna just throw these chunks of onions in there. I've got some just leftover bits of garlic here that I'm just gonna kind of smash so that they start releasing a little bit of their oils. Again, this is the kind of thing you could leave the skins on for. You don't need to worry about taking the skins off. Again, these are just to help kind of season our water. Carrots, celery also would be great in here. You could throw some fennel in there if you wanted to. Again, I don't have any of that today, but I am gonna throw in a lemon that I'm just gonna kind of chunk up here, add a little bit of acidity to the water. And you're just gonna let this kind of simmer and flavor. But we've got a few other options too that we could add. Today I'm gonna be using Old Bay. Old Bay is a great standby for this sort of stuff. I usually have this around hand at home. Just works really well for doing any kind of boils. You could also use any kind of Cajun seasoning you wanted to. We've got the Louisiana. We've got this shrimp and crab boil mix that you could also use. Again, any of this stuff would work fine, and they're great. But today I'm gonna go with Old Bay. That's what I tend to like. So this is what I use, but you could do however you wanted. And I'm gonna add a very generous amount of Old Bay to this water because what I really want is this to be very well seasoned water. Again, I do have a bit of salt in there already in order to help season my potatoes. But I'm gonna use maybe close to half this jar just for the boiling portion. So I'm gonna just give that a little stir around, and you see that water automatically starts to turn kind of that nice red color. Really beautiful. Old Bay is indeed an old friend. Zatarain's is also great here. Again, if you want a little bit more Cajun-y, you could definitely go that route. Straight up Cajun seasoning is fine as well. You can kind of do a lot of different things with a boil because that water is really going to work to impart those flavors into whatever seafood that you're using. Now, traditionally speaking, you would use andouille, but today I have chorizo because it's what I have, and this will also work really nice. Some kind of sausage with a bit of heat to it, you know, is always really good. With some kind of that peppery flavor. This is going to add some of that paprika flavor into it as well. Again, which is going to be really nice here. Really any sausage that you like. Andouille is the traditional if you're doing like that southern low country style boil. But really anything will work. So I'm just gonna chunk up this chorizo. It's gonna go right into the pot with everything else, and that's just gonna kind of simmer through. This is pre-cooked, so again, we're just looking to kind of let it warm through, do its thing. Perfect. Now, if you had shellfish of any kind, like clams or mussels, those could certainly go in here. Probably if you're doing clams, those tend to take a little bit longer to cook, so you could probably throw those in here right about now, and that would be fantastic. But what we've got here is just a lot of flavor going on. Really beautiful flavor developing. The lemons, the onions, the garlic, all of those oils and flavors from that is leaching into that, that water. All the seasoning and spices on the chorizo, that's leaching into that water as well. There's just a lot of good stuff going on here. So that's exactly what we want. So again, we just want to cook this sort of long enough for those sausages to kind of start coming through, those onions to soften a little bit, and that takes a few minutes. And then we'll go ahead, what do we got going on here? Absolutely, crayfish. Again, one of the most popular things we sell, right along with the blue crabs. You know, if you watched yesterday, we did the blue crab tacos. That was super fun, absolutely delicious. Got really good response on that. We really appreciate that. But this goes right along with that. You could do some fried blue crabs and a boil and have yourself a great weekend. Oh, that's cute. Memories of your dad, crabbing with your dad and doing boils. I mean, that's fun. Food is about memory as much as it is flavor and everything else, you know? And sometimes it's great to just take the time and do something like this, especially since this doesn't take much time. I mean, if you're making a big pot for a ton of people, which we're probably not doing right now, you know, again, everybody's kind of indoor staying safe, but to do a smaller thing like this for your family is really great to do. Again, you do this, and then I'm gonna show you how to make a really nice flavored butter to kind of toss everything in. That's also gonna make this extra delicious. So for that, let me just see, my potatoes should be cooked pretty well through. I'm just gonna go ahead and give one a little bit of a test. You can see the knife goes right in, so it's good and tender. It's exactly what we want. And again, those onions are starting to soften real nice. See, really beautiful. Sausage is warming through. You can see it kind of curling around the edges, doing that nice sausagey thing, which we all love. So what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna go ahead and add my crayfish to the pot. They go in just like this. Again, if you had some clams or mussels or things like that, you put those in a little bit ahead of time. If you had some shrimp with this, you could throw the shrimp right in with there. Snow crab pieces are great. Those could go in right at the same time as well. Again, you could do a lot of different things here. Oysters, you could throw some oysters in there with it and let the oysters kind of steam boil and let their liquor kind of leach into that broth that we've got going on. That would be really nice. Again, so many different things you could do. Also, oysters right now are 99 cents each, so it's a really good deal. So get a couple dozen oysters, throw those in your pot, and you'd be good to go. So these are gonna just go right into the pot, like so. Just gonna put them in and let them do their thing. Now those will take a few minutes to cook. You know, generally 3 to 4 minutes or so is enough time, which in that time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bowl. I've got a metal bowl here that I'm gonna put right on top, and I'm gonna add some butter to this. I'm using this really good Harvest Creamery butter that we've got here. This stuff is great, and it's gonna be perfect for this. I want quite a bit, because again, we got a lot of stuff. And basically what we're doing is building a sauce for this. So I'm gonna add my butter, let that start melting. Remember, we've got potatoes, we got sausage, potentially there's corn if you're doing that. But we want a good amount of butter. And to that butter, I'm gonna go ahead and add some more of my Old Bay, because we're making a very flavorful butter that we're gonna toss everything in. So I've got a good amount of Old Bay there. Now, if you wanted, you could also go to your standby hot sauce. Today I'm just using a little Tabasco, because again, it's what we have on hand. It's gonna work good for this. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of heat here. And I'm gonna go back to another lemon, which I'm just gonna cut. I'm gonna cut the seeds out of there so they don't drop into my sauce. And I'm gonna add just a touch of fresh lemon. So we've got this really nice kind of sauce base going on here, which is gonna go really well with all of our crawfish. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of mix this and let this come together, and you can see what we've got here is the making of a really nice sauce. This is not dissimilar to how you would make a buffalo sauce. Instead of the Old Bay seasoning and Tabasco, you do the butter and traditionally Frank's Red Hot sauce, but you could use whatever you like. And then you've got a pretty typical butter sauce. But you can see, buffalo sauce, but you can see how you can take that in a lot of different directions here with this. So again, I'm just gonna kind of stir this all together, let that butter just gently melt. And then I'm gonna remove it from the heat and just kind of let it chill out while our crayfish finish. You can see how fast this comes together. You know, that heats up pretty quick. And that butter just melts in there. It gets just nice and gorgeous. We've got all that Old Bay. I can smell a little bit of that vinegar coming off the Tabasco. It's got that a little bit of a lemony aroma to it as well. Just really, really nice. This is absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove this from the heat. The bowl is gonna get a little bit hot on you, so you wanna be careful there. And you can see now, in just those few minutes, those crawfish have turned nice and red. So these are almost done. I'm gonna give them another minute or so to kind of cook and do their thing. But let me show you what we're looking at there. Let's get my bowl underneath. That nice, beautiful, plump crawfish. And I'll show you how to open these too, because we get a lot of questions about how do I eat crayfish once they're cooked. So I'll kind of show you how to do that. But you can see we've just got so much. There we go, sorry, it looked like I got a phone call. So there we go, really beautiful. Those potatoes are soft and tender, exactly what we want. So I'm just gonna let this kind of simmer again for another minute or so, just to make sure those crayfish are cooked fully through. But you know, just like shrimp, lobster, anything like that, like basically as soon as it's kind of red all the way through, you're generally good to go. But yeah, it's pretty simple to do, as you can see. Again, it's really not hard. These are a good size. In terms of size, these are generally roughly 16 to 20 size. So kind of like a good size shrimp. Yeah, so really nice stuff. You see that? Just beautiful. It's got a little piece of lemon next to it. Very, very nice. Butter and Old Bay. Yes, yes, yes. All of the yes. All right, so we're looking good here. So let's try to remove some of this from our pot. I'm gonna try to use this scoop. I don't know how realistic this is. So I'm gonna do this, kind of shake it, and right into the butter. It smells so good. Can't even tell you how good this smells. I know the cliche smell-o-vision line that all the TV shows use is tired and old, but at the same right, there's some truth to that, because just the smells coming off of this are just unbelievable. All right, I think I've done the best I can with that. Let's try my spoon here. Let's see if I can get out my other pieces. Make sure I've got all that beautiful sausage. Again, this chorizo is really nice. Andouille, great. We do carry all of this stuff, really. We've got your lemons, we've got the Old Bay, we've got all those different seasonings that I showed you. All right, so we're good here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my heat, and I'm actually just gonna move my burner sort of off to the side here. So now everything's in there. So now what I wanna do is just sort of gently fold it in with all that rich butter. Make sure everything is coated really nicely. We want it to get that nice, beautiful gloss. But we also don't want to break up and smash everything, so you want to be pretty gentle here. I'm going to add a little fresh chopped parsley here for just a hit of color and a little fresh herb action. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit more salt as well. It's optional. Salt, seasoned to taste, of course. Oh, yeah. Look at all that. You can see that butter just coating everything, and it's just glistening. Again, let's take another look at one of these crayfish here. You can see, really beautiful, glossy, covered in butter. Just perfect. So now, at this point, you could get out your paper, line your table, and just dump the bowl out in traditional fashion. But what I'm gonna do is I've got a platter here that I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna sort of dump everything out onto my platter. And this is a thing of beauty. Move this off to the side here. Really nice. Go ahead and just sort of, wipe this down. Now this is great here. Again, perfect for a nice little family meal. Of course, you're gonna hit it with a little bit more fresh parsley on top. And you can garnish with some additional lemon wedges. Like so. It's beautiful. Look at that. Just that awesome, awesome platter of food. Need to wait for senior day? No need to wait for senior day. In fact, if you do online ordering, our senior discount is good every day of the week. Not in store. In stores, it's only Tuesdays, but online, you can use discount code SENIORVET when you're checking out, and that'll give you 20% off your whole order. And we do that to try to encourage people to use online ordering in this time where everybody's trying to social distance and stuff. So we try to add a little bit of extra incentive for that. So the senior discount is available online every day of the week, not just Tuesdays. Tuesdays only in store, every day online, discount code SENIORVET. But we've just got this beautiful color going on here, really nice. I'm gonna try to let them cool down just a minute before I show you how to really open them and get into them. But you could hit this with some more hot sauce if you wanted to. But this is really just good to go as is. You've got a full meal here, especially if you've got corn in there. If you didn't have corn, you could throw other vegetables in there too. Some asparagus would be nice in here, would be totally fine. Mushrooms go great in a boil, surprisingly enough. You could throw some broccoli in there if you wanted to. Zucchini would be okay. Really anything works pretty well. All right. So let's see now if I can start to handle this. Yeah, this isn't so bad. So we've got our crawfish. Everything is cooked. You can see, beautiful. Hi. And what you do is you hold the crawfish and first you twist, like so. Now, traditionally, they'll suck the head. So they'll take this, put it in your mouth and just suck out all the juices that are inside there because a lot of that seasoning leaches in there. Plus there's a lot of that crawfish juice in there. So really, really nice to do. Went ahead and did it. Very good. But now we've got our crawfish tail. You can see that meat sort of sticking out there. And you can see, just like a lobster, it's got these perforated things on the bottom. We do have a YouTube video up on how to do this that shows you pretty well. but I'll show you again here. So what I'm gonna do is hold that plate with my thumb pretty tight, and I'm gonna twist to separate that shell from the meat. This doesn't always work super well, but I'm gonna try. And then I pinched this just to kind of break the shell a little bit. So again, I twisted to separate, so now the shell's in two different pieces, and on this top part, I kind of pinched it inwards to break. And now what I'm gonna do is very gently sort of try to remove this shell, and it helps to kind of hold, oh, I ripped it. That happens. If that's the case, you just gotta get in there, break it up, and you've got your crawfish tail meat. Same with the bottom. You wanna get every piece that you can. Now, of course, you can get into the claws and stuff. That's more work than most people are really willing to put in. But you can see, nice crawfish tail. Let's go ahead and try one more time, see if I can make this work. So I'm gonna twist, break it off. Tail, tail, hold, twist, again, separating that shell. And I'm just gonna pinch. Oh, I did it again. I'm terrible at this. But anyway, it's not that hard to do. It goes pretty quickly, and again, you can just break right into there. I think what I'm doing is a little bit too close to the head. But again, it's just not that hard. You can blow through these. Again, they're great. They're about $16.20 per pound. Let's try to go a little bit closer to the head. See if that makes it a little easier. There we go. See, that shell slips right off. Pinch, and then twist, and kind of pull that meat. It should slide out. There we go, got one. So there's that whole tail piece. Just takes a little practice. This is messy business. You can see my fingers are covered in butter and parsley, but absolutely beautiful. So simple, so nice. Definitely worth doing. This is the kind of thing you could easily do on a weeknight. Crayfish are not terribly expensive. They're $7.99 a pound, so great deal. And there's about 16 to 20 per pound. Obviously, you could easily do a pound per person because there's not a ton of meat in there. But that's where you fill up with the other stuff, the sausage, the potatoes, corn, or your vegetables, whatever else you've got going on. But very simple, very nice. You want to order these fast because they are already close to selling out. They go very, very quickly as soon as we get them in. People are super all about it, which we always appreciate. But yeah, thank you again for tuning in today. This has been great. Always love doing boils and showing you how to do it. Super fun. Just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, hopefully you make something like this. If you do, definitely tag us in those photos. We want to see what you're making. We always love it when people tag us in their photos. Such beautiful stuff that I'm seeing out there, really cool. And we always try to reshare it when we can. So definitely do that. Otherwise, you know, keep safe, keep eating well, and we will be back tomorrow with some more fun stuff. So check back, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.